And like this tea, I had hot water. I added this to it to change it. And let's change our lives for the better, all right? So, kampai, it's tea time. I was reading about Alfred Nobel. I don't know if you ever heard of the Nobel Peace Prize, but he's kind of the guy behind that. And the interesting thing about him was, and this is a story, I don't know if it's true, but I just read this, so I thought I'd pass it along to you. All right, so he was known for dynamite. He was known for dynamite, right? He invented dynamite. And just imagine this. He woke up in the morning. He woke up one morning and he read that. All right, Alfred Nobel. He got the paper, read that Alfred Nobel has passed away, and he died a very rich man uh, off of the mass production of his invention that killed millions of people. All right, and that's how he died. I mean, that's how he was known when he read this. Now he wasn't dead, but what had happened was his brother had died, and they mistake they mistook it for him, right? And they put their opinion on about who he was at that time. You know, a very rich man profiting off of the deaths of millions due to the war. So that didn't sit right with him. And I don't know if it would sit right with you, you know, if you was known for killing everybody, you were responsible for the deaths of millions of people. But he didn't want to go out like that. So he, in his fortune, when he left his fortune to the ongoing humanitarian efforts, which is the Nobel Peace Prize. Even though he, you know, created something that caused mass destruction, he wanted to change his perception. So during this tea time, let's see if this is. Nah, I need loose leaf. But we have to really start to understand who we are and how people see us. And once we have that understanding, if you don't like where you are, or if you don't like who you are, guess what you can do? You can change it. You can start making lives better. You can start putting things in place to where, you know, you just don't have to go out like that. Let me put it that way. You don't have to be who you are right now. Now, yes, it's hard to change. But say if I don't like who I am and I want a better tomorrow for myself and my family, I have to put in place disciplines and attitudes and probably have mentorship in place to help me get to where I want to be. It doesn't happen overnight. I'll tell you, I probably studied Japanese for about 10 years before I really built a vocabulary. And I knew I wanted to be here, but I was way over there. And like I said, 10 years had went by, and then I really searched for help. I searched for a mentor. And that's where the Japanese School of Savannah came up. And it was only 45 minutes away from me. And I learned more in that 1 year than I did in the past 10 years. I learned more going to Japan. Well, I had the foundation from Japanese School of Savannah. So I always appreciate Mocha Sensei. I learned more in Japan though than I did in that last 17 years. And I was only there for 10 days, but nonstop total immersion takes, if I didn't have that foundation from Japanese School of Savannah and I had the 10 years of just building vocabulary, I would have really, really not enjoyed Japan when I went. So when I go back with even more knowledge, even more extensive vocabulary, I'm a little beyond vocabulary now. I'm putting sentences together, conversational. Working on that. But for me to get here to there, I really have to find people who, like, I have to find mentorship, and I have to be disciplined to do studies every day, do something every day. And, if I want to be here, total immersion is the best way to do it. And when I think about that, immersion, I think of baptism. Like, if I want to be spiritually here, total immersion is going to be the best way to do it. Learning about something or another culture or, spiritual things from a book gets you to a certain place. But total immersion, being in, having tea time with God, or having a relationship where someone is really, like I said, mentorship and discipline, having those relationships that pull you in and totally submerge you into that atmosphere, then you get to where you want to be faster. When I think of spiritual things, if I can read all day long about, commentaries, and I can have dictionaries and things like that. But until I start to really sit under leadership or have friends to converse with and see what they're learning and have those conversations, then you can only grow so much on your own. And we're not designed to be alone. Adam even had Eve, and he had God with him at all times until they sinned. And God was still with them. But the more you submerge yourself into the knowledge or the place that you want to go, the more you find the people who are there and willing to help you. That's something you got to find those people. They're not looking for you. They might be willing to help you, but they're not looking for you. You have to look for them. And usually God will set it up that exchange to where, yeah, I don't mind taking you in. But like I said, they're not looking for you. You got to seek them You know, you have to ask. You have to seek and knock. And the door will be open to you. If you just stand in front of the door like this, open, it usually doesn't open. It usually waits. The person behind the door or whatever they're doing is, they don't usually come until you knock and they hear the door. When they hear that, then they respond. So I'm going to finish this. I don't really want to. Maybe if I add a sweetener to it, but I try not to. But, you know, take that into consideration. Tomorrow, we're really going to start getting into personal development, you know, changing our lives for the better. All right? So I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Kampai.